Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Minecraft Short Stories podcast. In this week, I have another story written by me. I did not make a title for this one, I just forgot to. So, if you guys want to mention a title, you can send it to me through my website, minecraftshortstories.com, link inside the description. And while you're there, you could support the Minecraft Short Stories YouTube channel by subscribing. We're almost to 100 subscribers. And 100 subscribers, I'll have Grayson on the show. Grace has not been on since around the beginning of the podcast. So, if you want to see that happen, go subscribe. But right before the story, let's hear a word from our sponsor. The story does not have a name. Past the bubbling lava, through the festering high-fae forests, in the basalt dunes lies a structure, towering and gigantic. Ruins composed of black stone and ash. In here lies endless twisting hallways, rubble and rooms, all converging into one point, a lava-filled chamber. The ceiling is strung with chains. In the center presides a guarded island. On the island is a glimmering sword, glinting and flashing with enchanted flames, ancient and powerful. Patrolling this bastion roams the Piglins, covered in gold and wielding swords. Lukas equipped his armor and sheathed his sword. He opened his bag and placed some pork and carrots into it. He faced a portal near him and walked into it. Lukas had been preparing for this adventure for many months, gathering resources and crafting essentials. He was going to the Nether to reclaim something he had lost. A sword passed down in his family from generation to generation. This sword was rumored to have near unbeatable strength, and was made of the purest diamond. It had been stolen by the Piglins when the sword was taken to the Nether on an escapade into the Crimson Forest. Lukas had to reclaim it. It could not fall into the wrong hands. The Nether shimmered into existence. Through the purple haze of the portal, Lukas stepped out a bit dizzy. Lukas lifted his head and surveyed his surroundings. He had come out in the Nether plains, an expanse of netherrack going on for hundreds of blocks. Lukas unsheathed his sword and stood prepared. The only creatures Lukas could see were far-off Piglins, just wandering the plains. They should not be a threat. Lukas pulled out the map he had been composing for the last month. After talking to numerous librarians and cartographers, he had mapped the area he was in and found the spot where the sword had gone missing. There was only one Piglin settlement anywhere nearby, and it was a bastion. A daunting task for a single player, but failure was not an option. Lukas glanced once more at his map, then headed up and to the left on a direct path towards the bastion. The map was not very filled in, so he was basically on his own for navigation, until he was closer to the bastion. The Nether plains just kept going. There was nothing to look at. The only thing Lukas could do was just keep going. Occasionally he would stop and check his map or eat some pork, but his only goal right now was to just get to the next biome. Finally, over the plains, Lukas spotted the top of a warped high-fae tree. In another minute, he had entered the blue biome. Almost immediately, Lukas spotted the tall, slender frame of an Enderman. Before he could look down, his eyes caught the Enderman's. With a shriek of anger, the black phantom teleported. Lukas gripped his sword tightly. Suddenly, from behind him, Lukas was struck. The blow pushed him forward and he landed on his knees. Lukas jumped up and whipped around with his sword. The Enderman was about to teleport again, but right before it did, Lukas's blade crashed into it. With a flash of red, the Enderman teleported once more. Lukas sat tense and ready for a minute. Has it gone away? From behind, Lukas was struck with enough force to knock the sword out of his hand. The blade thumped onto the soft netherrack. Lukas stumbled forward and grabbed the blade as the Enderman struck downwards again, only to be blocked by Lukas's sword. Off balance, the Enderman was easily finished by Lukas. Lukas leaned down and picked up the pearl it dropped, stowing it away in his satchel. The cyan of the warped high-fae trees were quickly replaced by the red of the crimson trees. Lukas was in the biome the diamond sword was lost in. Lukas checked his map. He was close to the bastion. The crimson biome was much brighter than its blue counterpart, as everything seemed to give off an unwelcoming, harsh red light. Strewn across the floor were red mushrooms. Towering crimson trees made up this ethereal forest. In front of Lukas strode a large piglin with a golden chestplate, leggings, and boots. The piglin saw him and grunted in surprise. Lukas realized he had forgotten about wearing gold armor, so the piglins wouldn't attack. The piglins saw things wearing iron and diamond armor threats. The golden piglin in front of him stepped forward, raising its broad gold axe. Lukas tried to escape by sidestepping the piglin, but the piglin was surprisingly fast, and it delivered a smashing blow with its axe. Without his armor, it would have been much more than just hurt a little. Lukas stumbled but recovered. The piglin readied its axe again, but Lukas didn't give it the chance. With some quick sword work, the piglin died. Lukas grabbed the golden leggings it was wearing and put them on. If he didn't anger the piglins, he should be fine wearing this. The Crimson Forest grew warmer and warmer as Lukas approached the basalt deltas. Lukas saw the heat first. Large plumes of smoke rose above the fungal trees, and the air was shimmery with heat. Up ahead, the tree stopped. Lukas walked out of the forest and saw before him a biome made up of large spikes of basalt, looking like giant teeth. On either side of this biome were lava lakes. The only way to progress was to brave this. Lukas clambered onto the first basalt pillar, and then onto the next. Small pools of lava dotted the numerous crevices in the apocalyptic biome. One misstep may send him into one of these pools. The journey was tough, but Lukas finally made it to the base of the bastion. Lukas was wondering how to enter, until he saw a ruined section of the wall with ample space to make an entry through. Lukas climbed through and saw only a narrow hallway going both left and right, for as long as he could see, though only by infrequent soul fire lanterns. Lukas chose to go right and started walking. The hallway continued for a long time, till it turned away into a different one, and he met no one. Lukas turned the corner, and came face to face with an armed piglin brute. The brute snorted at him angrily, and looked at him. Then it saw his golden leggings. It turned away with a dismissive snort, and continued patrolling. Lukas hurried away quickly, but couldn't take any chances. Lukas met similar reactions and attitudes in the next little while going through the corridors, but he met no opposition. Finally, he turned down the hall, and came into something that was not a corridor. It was a small room with a balcony that looked out onto the lava lake near the bastion. In the room were 3 piglins, who didn't even glance at him as he continued on. The next room held some chests. What if the piglins had stored the sword on one of them? There was no way to be sure unless he checked. Lukas crept toward a chest near the left of the storeroom. He creaked it open and got a glimpse of some gold, an enchanted gold sword, and some books, till he had to whirl around and block the attack of an enraged piglin brute with his sword. The piglin brute snorted with fury in his eyes. It snorted louder, and another piglin brute emerged from the doorway to the next room. Lukas finished off the piglin who had attacked him, and took a wallop with his gold axe. The second brute raised its axe and hit Lukas as he recovered from the previous attack. Lukas's armor couldn't withstand these attacks for long, not to mention Lukas himself. He dodged and brought his sword down. With a squeal, the piglin flashed red. The axe came down towards Lukas again, but he jumped to the side and the axe hit the floor, unsteadying the piglin. Lukas struck it once more and finally vanquished it. Lukas, breathing hard and tired, stepped into the next room. This room was like the last one, filled with chests, except this one had a doorway opposite the chests. Lukas peered through the doorway and saw a gigantic room. It was near the ceiling, and large amounts of chains were dangling and swaying from the ceiling. Holding onto the doorway and peering down, Lukas could see a lava lake with one small basalt bridge leading to an island in the middle. Lukas squinted and could make out something glinting in the lava's light. Or maybe it was glinting with enchantment. Excitement swooped in Lukas. He had found it. Now all he had to do was reclaim it and return home, a hero to his family. Lukas made his way quickly through the winding hallways. It was like a maze, and it took Lukas a long time to find his way to the correct doorway across the bridge. 2 piglins stood in front of the door. Lukas passed between them. They had seen his golden leggings, but they grunted their suspicions. He made his way across the bridge, the hot lava heating the inside of his armor till it was almost unbearable. He made it to the island. Now, where was it? A large number of barrels overflowing with gold and iron were scattered around. Then, on a black stone wall, Lukas saw the sword. It was nestled between an enchanted gold sword and a netherite sword. It glowed with enchantment. It glimmered even brighter than the other enchanted sword on the wall. Lukas lifted his fingers up and grabbed the hilt. He carefully lifted it down. Not that he would be able to harm a diamond blade. As Lukas held it, a cry of outrage erupted around him. Lukas turned. He had to get out of there. A crossbow arrow hit him in the shoulder, deflected by his armor. Lukas rushed to the bridge. Already, on the other side, the piglins had assembled to apprehend him. Lukas was stuck. He couldn't go forwards, backwards, or stand still, because a crossbow arrow would knock him into the lava. Lukas took the risk. The only way out was to go forward. Lukas ran as fast as he could without falling into the lava. The piglins on the other side had trickled onto the one-block bridge. Lukas took the diamond sword and struck them. The piglin flew back a lot farther than usual. The sword must have been blessed with knockback. Another piglin started to duel with Lukas. Before the piglin could attack, Lukas swung his sword and saw the blade cut the piglin's armor to shreds easily. Sharpness must also be on this blade. Smashing through the last of the piglins, Lukas ran blindly through the corridors of the bastion. Finally, he found the normal exit out. Word had not spread throughout the piglins yet, so he kept the sword concealed and was allowed to leave. Lukas clambered over the basalt pillars as fast as he could, then sprinted through the crimson forest. They finally rested and ate some food in the walled forest, before continuing on and returning home with his family heirloom. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys inside the next episode.